Hey all, Florida man here. So you ever see something rolling down the tracks and feel like the whole dang state is wondering, how in the holy hell is this thing still happening? This thing is the Frightline. We Floridians call it Frightline. Florida's privately run high-speed passenger train from Miami to Orlando. First, the facts. As of late October 2025, at least 186 folks have died on or beside Frightline tracks since it first started rolling back in 2018. That means Frightline has the highest per-mile death rate of any railroad in American history, most likely the highest in modern world railways, and plausibly the highest in all of world railway history. None of the deaths were caused by the train's crew or equipment, and none were actual passengers on the train. And only 24 of the deaths were folks in vehicles. Most were folks on foot or riding bikes. Frightline has publicly claimed that a lot of the fatalities were suicides, but medical examiners confirmed only about 75 as such, so why do Floridians keep colliding with the Frightline? Investigators say it could be a messy mix of infrastructure, policy, and human behavior. Large parts of the Frightline route ain't fenced, and there are many at-grade crossings. That means folks don't have to step up or step down to cross the tracks. And a lot of neighborhoods near the Frightline tracks have a quiet zone, so the train doesn't sound its horn. And Frightline is capable of up to 125 miles an hour. And even though hundreds of millions of dollars have been granted for safety improvements, some Frightline fatality sites still ain't fenced, and this has been going on for years. So in my opinion, all this sounds like either a cover-up or something otherworldly. The data speaks for itself. At least 186 deaths and counting. And of those, 110 were accidents or were undetermined. And I know, being Florida man myself, that we Floridians may be crazy. But we ain't stupid. So what in the high-speed hell is going on? I have a couple theories. Now these may sound out there, but mundane explanations just don't fit the facts. So there may be residual hauntings or spirit imprints along the Frightline tracks, which pass through decades-old railway right-of-ways, old infrastructure, and historically residential areas. Energy echoes from the past, places where back in the day, folks walked the tracks and were run over. And that spirit energy lingers on. Maybe some folks sense this subconsciously when they're near the tracks. This causes them to temporarily space out and make a fatal misstep. And places with repeated trauma can attract more accidents simply by being charged with negative energy. Or could be a time shift phenomenon. Because of the high speed of the train and the slow pace of the neighborhood, some folks might be stepping into a time gap and are distracted by a flicker in their peripheral vision, like sunlight on the rails, or the reflection of the train. A moment when reality slightly shifts, and folks think they can beat the Frightline. But they can't. This border between life and death zone could be strongest where the tracks ain't fenced, the crossings are frequent, and the Frightline speed is high. But whatever the cause, step away from the tracks, folks. So I'm fascinated and unsettled. And I feel drawn to these tracks, because this ain't just some creepy urban legend. It's a stack of official records that point to a persistent problem. So I'm putting on my boots. I'm gonna walk the tracks and talk to folks who live near the tracks. And if I find anything, I'll post an update. That is, if I'm not Frightline myself and turned into a ghost. Ooh. Just kidding, y'all. I promise I'll be careful. This is Florida man catching the train. Wahoo!